Welcome back to a family business podcast. Today, Andrew is going to lead us into what we're talking about.
All right. Do you guys know, we've talked a little bit about this before, but like most agents, they don't have a lead problem. They have a conversation problem. And you know what the biggest deal about that is, guys? It's costing them everything. It's why they're staying broke, right?
Correct.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, why is it that agents run around like crazy people with their heads cut off and they're always busy? Like, don't you love that?
Yes.
Oh my God,
so busy.
Oh my God, so
because they
busy.
confuse activity with productivity. And we have talked about this ad nauseum. Conversations.
It's a big word.
Lead to conversion, right?
Yeah. Relationship
true.
building, nurturing, all of it together. Are you doing the wrong things?
Yeah. And we're not saying don't post on social media, don't do emails, don't do CRM
Don't buy
input.
Canva.
That a lot of people, but the problem is a lot of people really think that I'm just going to do that. And God, I was so busy that I had to put 20 names in my CRM. So I just had a meeting with an agent late this past week, and he has not been using his CRM, which is very common for a newer agent or one that doesn't have a lot of experience. So I said,
or
hey,
one that just doesn't like to do things differently and hasn't realized how much it's costing them.
Yeah. So I said, hey, let's not concentrate too much on CRM input. Just do 5 a day. I mean, just put in that. And then the rest of the time, I want you talking to your sphere of influence. That's the most important part. If you do 5 a day, 5 names a day, that's going to get you over 1,500, a lot more than that, a year into your CRM. So you'll be totally fine. Now, what you should be doing is when the calls come in, just immediately input them into your CRM.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. So I think that the biggest little part about this right here of why you confuse productivity with activity is because let's be real. In the prime time of making money and building our business and growing our database, oh dear Lord, PT.
I don't condone this.
Hi, Brad.
Hi. I'm going to try this for a while.
Those of you that are not watching us on YouTube, which is probably like 90% of you, are not understanding why this is so funny, but Brad has decided he wants to hold his mic too and look at me.
Well, I mean, it's like a popsicle, you said, right?
Doesn't it feel, it's kind of a cool feeling, isn't it? Yeah. PT, you should try it too.
I'm telling you, we need to get those Bob Barker microphones here.
Okay, we are so off topic, right?
Going back to the topic at hand here.
Okay, anyway, what I was going to say is that people, I think, get too wrapped up with the fact that it's like, well, I have to do something, right? But they don't know exactly what to do. So they're just doing whatever they think they should do, which one of those things may be inputting data, blah, 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 blah. But really,
which we're not saying is bad.
No. But listen, tell me if this is not a true statement. When you are truly in it, right? You are truly like building your business, doing the thing. You are so busy with actually talking to real people that it's hard for you to put that information into your CRM, which is why you should just have a CRM that automatically does it for you. But that's a different conversation. But I mean, we talked about this on a previous podcast. It's a BOEYE thing, right? You take little notes on pieces of paper, and then you forget where the paper is. And that's because you're so busy having conversations, which then leads to showing houses, which is how you make money. So if you have time to sit there and analyze all that, you're probably not doing the right
And they're not
thing.
money-making activities.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's not intentional.
Correct.
If you are just doing busy work and it seems that you're just kind of running in circles day to day and not building on what you're working on, then it's not intentional. You're not going in there with a purpose to either build a relationship or create a system within your business. There has to be an end goal at the end of the day of the work that you're doing that is keeping you busy.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is you can be exhausted in this business, and that's why you feel so busy, and you can still be broke, and you can still not be making any deals. So, I mean, really, at the end of the day, what actually makes money, what actually as an agent makes money, there's only really 3 things. And we've been...
Conversations.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Right.
What kind of conversations?
We've been talking about this ad nauseum within our office, Buy, Sell, Build QC with our group, our team. And really, we've done a couple different, we did a challenge at the beginning of the year called 30K in 50 days. If anybody wants information on that,
We'll be doing it again here in the fall.
well, but or to implement that, or
Yep.
just shoot us a DM. We're happy to share the blueprint for that, because it was a huge success for our agents. We're doing one now. It's 55 hard. That's a similar, but it's all of them are based around new conversations, following up conversations with people who aren't currently transacting with you, and meeting new people and making that relationship. Because at the end of the day, the conversion in your business only happens in one thing, guys. What?
Conversation.
You're not talking to people. That's not posting 10, like Brad said earlier, not posting 10 things on social, which you should do.
Oh, sure.
It's not sending 10 messages and getting no response. It's having a back and forth conversation, building a relationship. That's the only thing that makes you money.
But I really think it's hard. A lot of people have, I mean, you and I are very lucky, PT, that this is all that we've ever known. But a lot of people that come from the corporate world or they had another job, they had every day, they like had an agenda of what they told them what to do, right? This is one of the rare careers where you're truly an entrepreneur. And a lot of people don't understand that the leads just aren't going to come to you. You have to go out and get them.
Yeah, and there's a slight misconception with conversation and so forth too. The best still to this day is one-on-one. So whether that's a phone call or in person, um, but you can build or start relationships outside of a phone call. You can be interacting with them on social media. You can be sending them a text message, but you have to have a plan with it, right? So if you reach out to somebody via text message and you have a conversation, what do you do next? Well, okay, find in there maybe something about, they're having a baby at the beginning of June. Put a task in to follow back up in June and see if the baby is here. So you have to be intentional, right? We talk about listening and understanding, just not just bounce for, Alana plays today, woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
No, you understand what they're really interested in, what they care about, and then build from it.
Right. And that's exactly like it's so you want to be taught. A lot of people, well, because we're going to get into what do agents do wrong? What are they doing wrong right now? So they say they're busy, but they're not making the money. What are they
What are they doing wrong?
Yeah.
Being weird.
I knew you were going to
Right?
say that.
Who
but
says that?
But to your point,
Sharon, quit being weird.
But to your point, PT, that's exactly it. A lot of agents are talking at people instead of with people. Like we hear it all the time. People that are like, you tell someone or they're in an environment where it's like, make your calls. You got to make your calls. You got to talk to your 10 people. And so they pick up the phone and they're like, this. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, that's not a conversation. That's you puking information all over somebody, and they look at you as a salesperson rather than, hey, like you just said a bit. You know what I mean? Like it's a conversation. You want to learn things about them so they can learn things about you. One of them might be that you sell real estate. You shouldn't lead with that, right?
Well, and I always say that 80% of your conversation should be asking them questions about themselves, and 20% is just kind of answering questions that they may be asking you. So people like to talk about themselves, right? And it's very easy in a conversation, which comes to this talking at people, is that everybody wants to tell them how great they are, right? Yeah. Well, no one really wants to hear that. Quite honestly, they want to talk about themselves. So as a real estate professional, or just in life, interpersonal skills, ask people questions about them and their family, and don't talk about yourself.
And how do you find questions? So say you haven't talked to this person in a year, 2 years, 5 years. How do you find questions to ask people when you talk to them?
You stalk them on social media.
Yep.
You Google their name. And this is something that I think is funny because now there's so many more ways to do this. But literally when I got in the business, and Brad would laugh at me because back then we only really had Facebook and Google. We didn't have Instagram in the beginning. And Facebook was relatively new. But I would literally, as soon as somebody would call in or we'd get a lead or there's somebody that I met at some function and I'd have their name or whatever, I would literally go Google them. And I would stalk them on Facebook to try to find out, do I have any warm market connections with them? What is it they do for a living? Is there something that I have in common with them so that I can continue the conversation? And back then it was usually the next time I saw them, right? Or sending them a little note in the mail or something like that. And that goes back to one of the things that agents aren't doing wrong. They're not tracking their conversations. Like if you would meet somebody and it's someone you want to follow up with and you want to enter into your CRM so that you can, continue to build that relationship, you need to track that. Like,
Yes.
you need to know how many conversations you're having a week if you want to continue to grow. Not just, okay, I checked the box, right? It's more so how many are you having and how many are resulting in something? Because if you're not actually having a conversation, you're not building a pipeline of business. You're just talking randomly to people at people,
Yeah.
kind of like I'm doing to you right now on this microphone.
Well, they're not real conversations, right? I mean, it's just talking at people, which I mean, we know a lot of people that do that, right?
Yeah, and we talk about handwritten notes and
Mhm.
why people enjoy those too because they're genuine, right?
Yep.
So you have to get out of the mindset of providing a service to them that will come down the road naturally. You
Agreed.
have to be genuine with them. You have to have them like, know, and trust you,
Yeah.
and so that has to be your goal.
Yep.
Yeah. And, going back to the not tracking conversations, I remember an agent in our office recently said this to me because, she had 6 deals, I think, going at the same time. Actually, we had her on the pod. And she had 6 deals going at the same time. So she got really, really focused on those 6 deals that she had going on at the same time and getting those from start to finish, which is important, right? It's an important thing. But the other part of that is that because she wasn't at that time tracking her conversations the way that she should be, she didn't realize that she wasn't doing that part of the business. So all of a sudden she's getting to where all those deals are closing and she's like, crap,
Mm-hmm.
I need to make up time. And this goes back to why you need a CRM, you need a database so that you can track, because you have to find time. This is, agents go wrong at this. They coddle the deals that they have and they don't find the time to continue to have new conversations so that they're putting new people into it so that you have new business coming in.
Yeah.
And that's why you stall. The other thing is I think sometimes, especially newer agents, are just nervous. They're waiting like, oh, I haven't role played enough, or I'm not sure how to handle this objection, or I'm not how. Well, guess what? Just, you need to start doing it. If you're not walking up to someone and selling them on you being a realtor and using you, you're just talking to them. Do you not talk to people on a normal basis? I mean, that's, I find to be the weirdest thing. And I think people overthink it and think I need to call them and talk to them about me selling real estate. No, you just need to call them and have a conversation.
Right. Just about life, not that you're even in real estate.
Right.
I mean, that's and it will naturally come up because, of course, they will ask, "What are you up to these days?"
Right.
And the 99% of people are going to suck at it. It's just the
Yeah.
reality. There's the 1% that just are born with the gift of being a extrovert and having conversations like it's no big deal. But 99% of the people just can't get out of their own way. And how do you learn is from when you do it. You listen back to what you do.
Yep.
You get feedback from others. So just do it and then pivot.
Which also goes back to having a good CRM. I mean, the one we use right now, and we're a one consent state, but it does record the phone calls that we have. And people are like, oh, isn't that? No, it's really for the agent, number one, so that they make sure they don't miss details that they need to know when they are talking to a client. Number two, if they're doing leads and they're calling leads or they're having these conversations with people and they realize, gosh, that was weird, they can listen to it back. So those are things that you should make sure that you have as a tool to use, like PT said, because I mean, don't you remember in the beginning, you used to do that all the time.
Sure.
You would listen to, or he would call, one of us and be like, hey, can you just listen to this? Like, what is it that I feel like I was just weird. Well, sometimes he was.
Awesome.
Well, and awesome. Yeah. Cool.
We should,
Yeah.
you know what? That'd be fun.
But,
That'd be a fun pod at some point, right? We should just play some of those fun ones. That's so cool. Okay, well, awesome.
But I mean, that goes back to confidence and practice, right? I mean, so if you would hear his early phone calls back when he graduated from college to now, I mean, it's a totally different confidence level. And that's why you hear a lot less of the awesomes and the cools, that he's not nervous on the phone now. And that comes with practice, repetition, like we talk about.
And being around people, right? Like, it's like we have an agent in our office, Andrew, who's like, I remember when he first, because he's young. What is he, 18, 19 when he first got in the business?
He's 19
and he's like,
now.
I just need you to teach me how to talk to people.
Yeah.
Part of that is also shadowing, right?
Yeah.
Just spend a day with your mentor, an agent, or someone that's experienced in your office or a team or whatever, and just listen to them. You're going to learn, oh, wow, that's a different way to say that. I didn't think about that. So, I mean, these are real examples of what you can do as an agent, and that the ones that are winning, like, listen to them, right? They probably are nonstop having conversations and building their pipeline.
Yep.
Go.
Yeah. And once you become aware of what you're doing, you'll catch yourself a lot more, and then you move away from it. I mean, when we were doing 30K in 50 days, we're role playing, and it's so funny. There were, multiple agents would stop themselves in the middle and be like, "Oh, I did it again!" Like I'm fire hosing, or and so forth. And so once you become aware of the conversation skills that need to be thrown away, you become so much better.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is done is better than perfect too. Like, just do it, right?
Mhm.
And I really think we tend to be harder on ourselves than anybody else is, right? So we really think, oh, we sounded so stupid, but you really didn't.
No.
Sometimes I do, though.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But that's how you learn, right?
Uh-huh,
Going back to what you
100%.
said, you listen to yourself and you learn.
And it's so much easier to have a conversation for genuine. I know it's,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
such a hard hill
Yep.
to climb, but once you just start talking about their kids and something that you actually are familiar with, I mean, your brain doesn't work as hard.
Yeah,
it just
agree.
comes more natural.
Well, and we say this all the time, but in I'm going to repeat myself. It is literally, it's just proven. Like, most realtors, 99%, I'm going to say, do not have a lead problem. They have a conversation problem.
Yep.
And it also goes to, sometimes they want it too quickly. It's like if you open a business, like you open a restaurant, like you could have really busy days the first 3-4 days, but it's not like you're turning a profit. So again, I also think too, you have to make sure that when you get into this business, we preach this a lot. We're going to preach it some more. You have to know that this is a business. You're not instantly going to have a paycheck. You have to be prepared for that, right? Because the last thing you want to do is come off as a salesperson, have what we call commission breath, because that's all you care about, right? And sure, you should be motivated to work and grow your business because you do want to build a business and make money doing this as a business, but that shouldn't be what's coming off in your conversations. And I think that's really a problem that a lot of newer agents, or agents that are so busy, why they're going broke, because they're not having the right conversations. They
Or
just
they're
aren't.
not having conversations.
Right. True.
They're
Yeah.
just doing busy work.
Right.
So let's just take this into, we've been doing these challenges, this 30K in 50 days challenge. We did it. We're doing the 55 hard now. So let's really, right now, for those listening that are maybe that person, right? You're like, gosh, I'm so busy, but I'm so broke. And that's why you're listening to this. Let's really just, I know we talk about this, but let's just go through this again. Like, what are some simple, actionable things that they can do starting today to help them build their business and start making money?
So as Brad said, pick 5 people out of your sphere. But before you dial their number, send a text, go to their Facebook page and stalk them, go to their LinkedIn page. For me, example, a lot of my people in my sphere are either moving up in their jobs or moving different jobs, moving to different cities. So that's easy. Hey, how's Seattle doing? Fantastic. I'm so glad to hear you're doing well out there. Would love to come visit you sometime, whatever, right? So stalk them, and then just have a couple notes to kind of add into the conversation once you reach out to them. Hey, I just saw, Brooklyn had a game last weekend. How'd it go? Tells you all about it. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear he's doing well, and hopefully I catch a game. Like, so pick 5 people out, stalk them on all the social sites, Google them, and then make the conversations.
And just so you know, that is not weird. That's just telling someone that you actually care about them. I mean, everything is out there in public now, right? Like, or if you see somebody, like PT said, you see somebody out and about and they won an award, or you hear it from somebody else. That's not weird. That's having a conversation.
And
it's building
that.
a relationship.
I mean, there was just one yesterday where one of our clients, one of my friends, got named CEO of a company. So I literally went onto Facebook, saved the picture, and sent it to him, right? Yeah. And then he said, thanks, with a exclamation point. I mean, he's not going to say that made me feel so good, but it did.
It did.
But also,
it did.
But also take that to the other side, right? This goes back to being aware, right? And caring about building those relationships. Yeah. What if you called him, Brad, for something else and he'd been named CEO and you didn't even mention it?
Yeah.
Because you didn't even know.
Happens all the time.
So 5 people from your sphere.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of take one thing that Eric Hatch really, really taught us is use KEG.
Honey, it's cage.
Cage. CAIG. But I know what it is. So compliment, ask, invite. See what I'm thinking about here.
That's not how it's
Compliment.
Wait, Red, how is keg spelled?
Well,
keg is
the one that we used to drink out of. Well, the one that we used to drink out of in college was KEG, keg.
Okay, so how is this? What is
Cage?
What are the letters for this one?
CAIG. All right. So getting back here, compliment, ask, invite, and gratitude.
So you're using that in your 10 real conversations. So going
Yeah.
PTS is 5 spear people.
Yep.
In addition to that,
So
you
let
want to
me
add 10
explain
people
what
to
that
your
is.
database.
Yeah. Yeah. So compliment, right? So like a good example is last night, say congratulations on getting named CEO. And this is if you would call, right? Say, hey, I
Or you see
saw
them somewhere.
that you were named CEO. That is so awesome. If you don't know him real well, how long have you been with that company? Wow, that's really impressive. Would you like to go have lunch sometime? Or a keg? And then the last thing is, which I am so all into, is you should always have gratitude at the end of every conversation. I tell people after I see them, if I truly feel it, that it was great to see you again.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I'd love to
it's
see it
really
more
important.
often. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So for just a real life example, I'm seeing someone this evening that sells boats for a living. Right.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to ask them everything about boats.
Yep.
Like, well, I saw you had a couple boats listed the other
Yeah.
day. How'd those go? Are they sold? Can I get
And
one?
he will
All
eat
of that
that
kind
up.
of stuff. Right. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that, I think the bottom line about that is so we just talked about the cage thing, but that goes back to having your 10 real conversations.
Keg or cage?
Did I just say keg again?
No,
I was like, shoot, you messed me up. But having 10 real conversations per week, pick 5 people in your sphere where you're, honing in on that relationship. Use the cage, not keg acronym. And the other thing is, to put what PT said, just stop overthinking it.
Yeah.
It's different if you're going to a listing presentation or you're going to do a buyer's consultation. You should have a script that you've role played and you've paid. If you're just building your database and making new relationships, it's not a script.
Right.
No,
it's just a
because
conversation.
you're not a robot. You're a human being.
Scripts and role playing are meant to prepare you for specific situations. They're not meant to control the conversation, right? And so your goal with those are to learn on how to build off things, whether that's actively listing or asking the right questions. But your goal, it comes down to you, is where you're going to fill in the framework from there.
Absolutely. And you remember our last day of 30K in 50 days, a lot of people mentioned that they find themselves using the words that were on the cards that we used,
Right.
Which is really interesting
Words.
that you just incorporated, not phrases, but words. Yep,
right?
exactly.
Simple.
Yep.
But, I'm going to break this down to just as simple as we say be there, right? Well, be there in the sense of
David Knox, you just have to be there.
So when we were building our business, and I wish I had a video camera then, because I should have videotaped Brad, because Brad's a pretty outgoing person, but I'm a little bit more outgoing, especially when I'm in business building mode. And at that point we had 2 houses, actually 3 houses, and the market had crashed and I'd quit my 6-figure job to join Brad in real estate. And so we needed to build our business. So I was not afraid of having a conversation with people.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'd be at a restaurant, right? Sitting there and I would overhear someone talk. We'd be in the grocery
She
store.
would do this all the time.
I'd be walking in the mall and I'd be like, oh my gosh, they just said something about selling a house and I'm going to go talk to him. And Brad's like, you are not going to go talk to that stranger. I'm like, sure I am. And do you know how many times that would turn into a conversation where then they would say, oh my gosh, you sell real estate? Because it was different then. We don't have all the social media avenues. And I think sometimes people use those as a crutch instead of just having actual real conversations.
100% agree with that. And even still, the top agents, they're still the ones that are like having the most conversations. I mean, there's no question about it. If you can, right now, if you had to name the top 10 agents in the Quad Cities, and I'm not asking you to name them, but
we're not going to.
I would bet every one of them are not necessarily outgoing people, but they're ones that are involved in things and they're seen all the time having conversations with people.
They're known at the places that they are. Right.
Well, and I've said this on previous podcasts, and I'm going to tell this story again because it's one of my favorite. I think it's great for agents to be friends with each other. We have this group in our office that do this Make It Sense Mondays thing at the coffee shops. I think is the cutest darn thing. And I love that they have that accountability with each other. But when I met Brad and he was in his office, they would literally, the group of people that he hung out with, go out for lunch every single day. They would go out and hang out after work together. So anyway, so I used to say to Brad, I think it's so great that you guys are all friends, but if you're out at a restaurant and the waitress says that she wants to buy her first home, what do you guys all do? Flip a quarter?
Yeah,
at some point you have to get out of your comfort zones of the people you always hang out with, especially if they're all realtors, because you're trying to build a business, right? That's the bottom line. So, if you want, and this really there's agents, I think, when they're struggling in the business and they're struggling because they're so busy, but they're feeling like they're still broke. They tend to feel like, okay, I need to buy leads, right? That's going to be the answer because I need more leads. I would pretty much guarantee you, and this is a stat that I shared last week, and I'm going to leave this for something to think about. This came from Inman, and it said that 80% of an agent's database is literally sitting there dormant.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that. When people say that they don't have enough leads, they need to buy more leads. No, it's actually that they don't need better leads. They don't need to buy more leads. They need to have better conversations with the people that they already know or have in their database. And I guarantee you they're going to have a better business.
Yeah. And it's very easy as an agent to just call somebody once and then they don't sound like they're very interested. And then all of a sudden, like, a year down the road, 6 months down the road, guess what? They bought something.
That's right. And you didn't even know.
Yep.
Just like that.
Yep.
All right. Well, reach out if you are feeling exhausted and busy, but broke. We're here to help.
Yeah. And have more conversations.
Yep. Real conversations. Don't be weird.
Exactly. Peace.
Peace.